Hey gang, I wanted a real quick message before the episode starts. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but I'm sick, and we recorded the this episode and next episode the same day, and I was sick during that episode as well. And you will probably hear a lot of coughing. I know I coughed a lot, and probably some sniffling, sneezing maybe in there. So I wanted to go ahead and just apologize for that because you probably do hear it quite a bit. And I wasn't as into the episode either, talking wise, so much. I'm looking back. I remember I usually try to squeeze in my horror related stuff. I didn't even do it. Those 2 episodes, I was just kind of out of it. But I didn't want us to miss a week so early on in the series. So I just wanted to kind of start off and just give my quick apologies for that, for any of the audio issues that you might hear coming from my end. So the next 2 episodes, they're pretty Ryan centric. He does a lot more of the talking in the next 2 episodes. So, but I just wanted to give that heads up. Welcome back to another episode of Geeks-a-Musing. This is Nathan.
And this is Ryan.
And we would just like to thank you all so much for coming back and joining us here on this illustrious little podcast.
What's with that voice?
I was trying to go like we're DJs for classical music.
Oh, they're all quiet and they're like driving. You drift off to sleep because they can't be loud.
That was Beethoven's Third Symphony.
Can't hear you at the bottom of a gorge. I'm dead.
Yeah, excuse my voice if it sounds a little funny, but I'm fighting a cold or something the last couple weeks. It's stupid.
Put it in a headlock.
This is irritating. But the end of last episode, we were going to talk about Supernatural, but me and Ryan talked. We're going to put that off.
Yeah, that's on hold because you want to do a Halloween episode, so that would be the best place to talk about supernatural and ghosts and spooky things.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be coming up in the next 3 weeks. So I was like, well, we do Supernatural and then we do all Halloween podcast. That might be too much too soon. So we're going to push that one to the Halloween episode. And Ryan came up with a pretty good idea about what to do for this episode, which is going to be.
I got a chart. We went over the chart before. It's 20 different topics, and I'm gonna roll. He's got a die over there. I got one over here. We're gonna roll randomly. We're just gonna ask each other questions based on what we roll. So, for example, if I roll comics, I can ask Nathan, what's his favorite comic, or what's your favorite comic book movie? Because that could be the same thing. Just stuff like that. So it'll be all random and quick paced.
That sounds delectable.
That sounds delightful.
Excuse me.
I'm in a much better mood. 2, what is that? Music, all genres and soundtracks.
I dropped my dice. I had to pick it up.
I'm in a much better mood because I started taking St. John's Wort.
St.
John's Wort.
Yeah, we'll start off with what's Ryan been doing lately? He's been taking St. John's Wort.
Yeah, that's our advertising. St. John's Wort. Get it. It boosts your mood. No, actually, I'm not sure what it does. Like, it could just be like the mind thing. What's it called?
Placebo.
Yeah, the placebo effect. Yeah. I go, you took this. That's how you feel, right? Of course, because I'm mind controlled. No, I technically feel better. My mood is boosted. I feel not as quiet, or I don't feel as withdrawn. I'm more open. I'm taking my pants off.
Whoa, hey, watch out there, buddy.
Hold on. Whip that baby on the table. I started taking nail, hair, and skin. It's just a pill, but it's weird tasting, and it tastes like I'll pop the 2 pills and I'll take them. And
you're a pill popper?
Yeah, I've been popping. Before you came down here, I had like 10 more pills in me. But the hair, nail, and skin, because I've been having like some skin issues. But like it tastes like take the marshmallows out of Lucky Charms, and that's what it tastes like. It's just that oat, whatever that flavor is. That's all it tastes like. It's like it's kind of sad because you're like going, it's like somebody took all my marshmallows away. But then my St. John's wort kicks in and goes, you don't need those marshmallows. Yeah. Freeze frame in the air with a high five. Which I'm gonna put in a movie someday. What I've been doing. Back to Killing Floor 2. Luckily, I probably have a month left on that game before I'm done. Because all I'm going to basically do, I'm going up to every... I told you I'm going to grind that game.
Yeah, you want to.
And I have been. I've been... Every class, or every perk is what they're called. They're like a different kind of class. Mm-hmm. They go up to level 25 max. Okay, I've been working on the Firebug. I thought I wouldn't enjoy it as much, but the Firebug is like fire. It's fire-based attacks, and everybody knows I love fire.
You are a pyromaniac.
I am a pyromaniac.
Put that fire out.
It's been in trouble. I've been in trouble for it before. So the Firebug starts with, it looks like a double caulk gun, or how do you say that word? Caulk. Is it caulk with an L, or is it cock gun?
The gun you said, I had a very different picture.
It's a gun that shoots cocks.
In my head.
It's a gun that shoots male roosters. Male roosters. A rooster isn't male. Duh. I actually said duh. So the Firebug has that, and then it has these like flare guns, but they're like 6-shooter flare guns, which is kind of cool. They set things on fire. And, of course, you have a Molotov cocktail as your grenade.
Oh, heck yeah.
Which is sweet because you throw it on the ground and they try to pass through it and they all catch fire as they run through. It's pretty fun. Then you have the flamethrower, which is awesome. And then your highest tiered gun is called the microwave gun. Mm-hmm. And it's basically like this high-tech piece of thing. Like, it shoots a microwave beam forward. Oh. And it also, like, if the creature has metal on it, like some of the creatures have, like, there's these ones called sirens and they walk forward and they shriek. Mm-hmm. And anybody around them takes a lot of damage. I don't understand how people in this game do not understand this siren, even though it's a low level like a creature. Mm-hmm. It does the most damage because you can be next to one and she starts screaming, you lose 25, your points just start going down. 25, 30, 40, you're going down. Like you can take punches by some of the other bigger monsters, and it's like 10 here, 15 here, or whatever like that. But those sirens, they get up to you like half the time you see people die. You look up top. It's like siren killed them.
Gotcha.
Because they weren't paying attention behind them, and 2 sirens walked up and went scree, and then that was it. But the sirens have these like metal frames around them, and the microwave gun it works really good on metal. But the microwave gun's fun because if you hit certain zombies with it, they'll inflate and explode and just throw gore all over the place. But that one's pretty fun. They also have a shotgun that shoots like flares, but it's like a tracer, but it burns. So that's it for Killing Floor. I'll be done with that game in probably. Usually it takes me a week to level up one of the classes.
Okay. You got one more class after this?
No, I've got 3 more after this. I got Sharpshooter, the Survivalist. The Survivalist uses any gun he can find laying around. Everyone else like. If you get kills killing certain creatures like the flame, remember those little creatures that would crawl around on all fours? They look like spider people. Yeah. You get more experience killing them because basically as soon as they hit fire, they pop. You just set fire to a hallway and they try to crawl through and that's it. You're like, well, haha, thanks for the XP. But yeah, they just start popping left and right. But then like the other ones like the Demolitionist is good for taking out like the big, like I think they're called flesh pounders, or like these big giant like steroid crazy dudes. Mm-hmm. But they get a lot more XP doing those. Survivalist gets XP with any weapon he uses. So he can pick up any weapon and be pretty decent with it. And then after that, I got the SWAT, and they use the semi-automatic machine guns, like an MP5. Those little short.
Yeah.
YouTube. I've been watching. I was watching Penny Arcade, the online comic strip. They do the 2 main guys. And like other guest stars, will do this Acquisitions Incorporated. It's a Dungeons and Dragons game they play in front of a live audience. Mm-hmm. I think the last one before this one they actually had in theaters, like linked to actual movie theaters. Mm-hmm. You could go in there and watch them. I think it was like a 300 screen, something like that. Probably throughout the Seattle area. But So I was watching them, and they had a guest on there, and her name was Holly Conrad. And her, I'll show you. I should have showed you before this, but I'll show you her cosplay when she got up on stage, because she plays this little character called Strix.
Strix.
Yeah, and she's like a sorcerer or sorceress, but she dresses her up like a witch. But her little character, like when you see her get on stage, she looks so happy and adorable just for being up there and being amongst you guys. I was like going, this girl looks pretty cool. I'm gonna watch her. And I watched her through the whole thing. And she held her own with the other guys up on stage.
That's cool.
And the other guy who usually plays the mage, he plays this gay guy called I'm gonna say gay guy.
That's what I thought you were going.
This guy called Jim Dark Magic, who's like a magic user. That's his name. They were like, "Going, really? That's gonna be your name?" And he's like, he made it work apparently. Oh yeah, it's like when you get a character and his name is like, Thor Iron Band, and like, that guy's got to be a dwarf because he sounds like a dwarf.
Yeah, it does.
I better not see anybody with the name Thor Iron Band. I'm gonna be mad. Anyway, they have a guy named Chris Perkins he works for Dungeons and Dragons. I think they're called Wizards of the Coast now.
Okay.
Or maybe it's Hasbro. I think Hasbro runs Dungeons and Dragons now.
Yeah, who owns it?
Yeah, who owns it? But he works for Dungeons and Dragons, and he dungeon masters or DMs a lot of the games for like different stars and stuff like that.
Oh.
It's always amazing to see who plays Dungeons and Dragons. Because when I was in high school, nobody would admit they played Dungeons and Dragons. But now it's like,
yeah, you got celebrities saying,
like Vin Diesel plays, and Vin Diesel got, apparently from what I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but Vin Diesel got The Rock, Dwayne Johnson to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Really?
And I think they even got Kevin Hart to play Dungeons. I have a funny image in my head of Kevin Hart playing Dungeons and Dragons, screaming everything he's gonna do, because that guy likes to be loud.
Yeah, he did. I could see that.
But it's funny to me. But they have in this group it's on YouTube called Dice Camera Action, and they have Chris Perkins as the Dungeon Master, and they have this guy Jared. I'm not sure what he does on YouTube. He's some kind of YouTube celebrity. I'm not really sure what he does. I'm gonna do some more background check or something on see what's up with him. But he plays a human rogue named DF. There's this guy named Nate who's playing the human bard, and his character's name is Paulton. My only problem with Nate is, and you'll see it in the comments if you ever look. But I don't know if he's deaf or if he's just not paying attention or something like that. But like, because it's on YouTube, so everyone has their own screen for their camera, their computer camera pointed at them, and they have their microphones in front of them. And he looks like he's just on the computer playing games or just surfing or something like that. And when he hears his name pop up, he'll like perk up like, oh, my name, like.
Yeah.
And you're like going, are you even paying attention? And then like, I mean, like I've seen he gets better later on, but I'm 20 episodes in now, 22 episodes in, maybe 25.
Dang.
I lost track. But he just doesn't seem to be invested. I'm like going, dude, if you're going to have Chris Perkins, who's a really good dungeon master, and on your game, you're not there. He's doing you a favor. You're not doing him a favor by being there. It's just weird. But then like, maybe he'll get better. But I mean, he's playing a bard. They're supposed to be like jovial, like musicians, like minstrels, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he'll have something described to him, or someone will talk to him, and this will be his response. Huh. That's his response. You're like going, really? Or he'll go, interesting. I'm like, oh my God. Turn off your computer and walk away right now.
That does sound like somebody who's half paying attention.
Yeah, like he can't hear what the description is, so that's his response.
Yeah.
Like when somebody goes, hey man, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Are you even listening to me? Sure, of course.
Interesting.
Interesting.
No sense.
That's what he sounds like. Then there's Anna. She plays a human paladin named Evelyn, or I think it's Evelyn. That's how she pronounces it. But when she role plays the character, like you can tell the difference when she's talking and then when Evelyn's talking. She sounds like a Southern Baptist, like like a country girl when she talks. But she'll always bring up like her character's god is this guy Lathander.
Yeah.
I think he's like the Lord of Light or something like that. And she'll be like going, oh, the light surrounds us, and just the way she talks about it. And you're like going, oh my! But she'll start doing it where like it starts to grate on you a little bit because it's her character, but that's how a religious person sounds sometimes, especially like the diehard ones, when they really start trying to put it in your head and you're like going, that's enough. That kind of thing. And then there's Holly, and she plays Strix, but when she got to dress up for the PAX thing, and I think she's a costume designer.
Oh, okay.
By trade. So her costume was like witch hat, and she had like little baubles and stuff like that on her thing, which is stuff she actually got from the game. She has a rat pet that has its brain exposed. I think it's called a cranium rat in Dungeons and Dragons. I don't really know what it is, but it's an intelligent rat that basically has its brain exposed out of its head. Oh. But to Strix, it's adorable. I'd be like, what's wrong with that thing? But she thinks it's like a little kitten to her. It's adorable. Oh, dang. So that's it for the YouTube. Netflix. Remember how I said I was going to watch? I was like, I need to watch Glow.
Yeah.
There was 2 things on Glow. There was Glow, which was about the actual gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see how it started and how it went up, because there was a time there, like, it got up to the 90s, and their ratings were almost, I think they were on the top of the peak, like almost over WWF, World Wrestling Federation.
Really?
They were up that high. And then 90s hit, and they were just gone. They got canceled or something like that. They just vanished. But then it went back to a lot of the women who were in the thing. And one of them was like, what's her name? It's not Big Kahuna. That's not her name. She was like,
attractive.
She was like she was like this big, like, this bigger Hawaiian. What do you want to call her? Polynesian lady.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but she was she was like one of the most like the funnest, like, the one who would appeal more to children and stuff like that. Mm. But then they showed her, and she's like in an old age home, and she's like, because she's kind of a big lady, but she was like, she can't move around as much. She's got problems with her knees, stuff like that. But then they had a reunion, and they had all the girls come together, and then she showed up, and then she was like, there was tears, she was all, but everybody was there, and everybody was all cool, But it was pretty cool to see what they were doing. And then I watched the show that was about. It was like a mini series about the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, kind of like it was kind of based on it, but it wasn't actually the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. It was kind of along the same lines. Like, the main character is this actress, and she can't make it. Well, she can make it, but they always give her lines like, she's the secretary or something like that. There's in the beginning, she's reading off these lines, and they go, "That was good, but that's the man's part." And she's like, "Oh." She's like, "Oh, I see where I went on." And then she goes, "Sir, you have a call online too?" That was her thing. And she was like, all the good roles go to men, because this is like 80s, early 80s. Oh, it was set in the 80s, which is awesome because they had a lot of 80s music.
Oh, nice.
And of course, like a lot of 80s lifestyle, like there's this robot going around this party, and he opens up a drawer, and there's cocaine and pills.
I was just going to say, there's gotta be, if it's in
there's
the 80s,
drugs.
There's gotta be coke.
Yeah, there's drugs and coke all over this thing. And they were like, and there's one lady goes, "There's drugs in the fucking robot." But it's
now, was it the robot from Rocky?
It almost looked like that
really?
Robot, yeah. It was that kind of robot where it was just basically like just a robot, not like a walking, talking robot, just a rolling.
Track, cocaine.
Yeah, I have everything you need. But yeah, I watched that. That show was pretty good. There was one girl on that show. They're supposed to show her as, I think she's younger age, like she probably shouldn't be wrestling with these women because she looked like she was maybe 16 or 17. Right. But then because I had to make that shit, because always that thing we have to look out for as a man, like going, should I be looking at this girl like that girl's attractive because I need to see how old she is before I
before I officially make that she's
attractive. She's not attractive until I know she's 18 or older, because otherwise then you're just a creep.
Yeah,
but then you're a creep or a weirdo. That's the second time this song's been referenced.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I looked her up, and then she was like, she looked like a more innocent version of Joan Jett, but young Joan Jett. And she had a pretty, like, kind of like a doll face in kind of a way, like. But I think her character in Glow was, she was like the tough punk girl or something like that. I think she was supposed to be one of the heels. You know how they have the heroes and the heels. Mm-hmm. But The one character who was the major star was she was from a soap opera where basically she was a big star, but she didn't really do anything in the soap opera. She was like in a coma, and then they killed off her character. Like she was in a bed. That was misacting. She was laying in a bed in a coma, and then she was gone. But then she came back because she really loved being an actress in the soaps. And then they were like, well, let's go to this wrestling event and see what this is about. So like the one girl I think her father used to be in wrestling, but he was like, him and his two sons were like, what's she doing? You can't be a wrestler. This isn't the kind of life for a woman, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then they had a part where she was like, well, I want to go. No, let's go see what kind of moves we can figure out, because they were trying to figure out their moves. They were trying to spice up their routines and stuff like that. So they went to a wrestling event, and they brought the one ex soap opera girl with them. And then she was explaining, oh, well, this guy, his wife was mind controlled by this guy. And now they're like, and then she's like, well, what mind control? She's like trying to figure it out. And she goes, wait a minute. She goes, it's a soap opera. It's a soap opera. She started freaking out. And I was like, that's exactly what wrestling is. You watch the WWE, it's just a soap opera.
Yeah, it is, man, big time.
I mean, like, it's a man's soap opera. You're watching it going, man, what's the Undertaker going to do when his brother shows up?
Let me tell you, brother, this is what we're going to do when we get in that ring.
Yeah, because like, wasn't Hulk Hogan? He was the hero, and then he became a bad guy for a while.
Yeah, he became a bad guy when he went to the WCW.
Was
he became Hollywood Hogan?
Was the NWO? Is that what it's called? NWO?
Was that the group he was
National
a part of?
National Wrestling Organization?
Because he was with the
I don't remember what it's called.
And then he went to was it the WCW had the NWO? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
All I know is I think McMahon owns them all now or something like that.
Does he? Yeah, he probably does. But then he even got himself jacked up so he could be in the...
Yeah, he's a pretty big dude.
Oh, yeah, steroids does a number for him.
Steroids does wonders.
I wouldn't want to be that big. There's always that gif or meme they showed, like they show the guys in the in Pacific Rim getting in the suits, and they start walking, and then it shows him walking out on the stage, and the way his arms move, you're like, what the hell? It takes two people to get him to move because he's a bigger robot. And so that was Glow. And my last thing is the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer dropped, and I was watching a bunch of stuff for it, and I was really excited for it. And then they ruined it because Rockstar never allows you to play any kind of a good character. You're always some kind of a scumbag.
And that's exactly what me and my friend at work, Marlon, were talking about. We were totally excited for this game because Marston's character, the character Marston from Red Dead Redemption, was a great character because
he used to
be a bad guy. And then he was trying to do good.
Yeah, he was trying to better himself, which is cool. Because it was always the people he knew were like scumbags.
Yeah,
You're like,
that was probably the best Rockstar character they've ever made.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying I wanted to be. I wanted to be Marston in the new one, but I kind of knew that they.
Like if you were a young Marston, because it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a prequel.
Yeah,
but I don't know how it's supposed to be a prequel if. Was that one town, the main town that was in Red Dead Redemption, the one on all the way to the east, the northeastern part of the map?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that town.
Just call it Tombstone because that's really what it was. But yeah, I mean, like I don't know, Rockstar they don't let you.
Well, it looked like like you were saying the new guy, and I don't know if they're gonna go GTA 5 style where you're gonna have several different characters.
Yeah, you're supposed to. Yeah. Like, there's supposed to be 7 players. And
maybe just the one they really featured in this trailer was, like, the jerk one. Like, the head was... I don't know if he was the head of the group. Because, that was one thing we were talking about is that guy just seemed all, like, mean all around. Like a jerk character.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
that would be like the guy I'd go, hey, you can't swim still, right? I just run him into the river and drown his ass. F him. I don't want that character anymore.
Like in GTA 5, you had the 3 guys, and you had Trevor was the psychopath, weirdo.
Yeah, he was the fun one.
Crazy dude.
I couldn't... the past 2 games, like Red Dead Redemption, the first one, I didn't even play through it. I actually got bored when you had to do the thing where you had to...
You didn't even beat Red Dead Redemption?
No, I never beat it. I played the zombie thing that we used to play, and then I used to do the online stuff.
Great.
I mean, I played those. Yeah. I didn't the actual main campaign. I can't get into the Rockstar campaign thing because
a good campaign though.
I know what it's about afterwards, but I mean, like, I played it. I got to like the fourth or fifth mission where you had to like use a rope to lasso some guy, and I was like, why wouldn't I just shoot him? This doesn't make any sense. Because you want me to lasso the guy, and then Grand Theft Auto, was it 4?
4 is the one with Nico Bellic.
Yeah, with Nico, I got like 3 missions into that, and his stupid cousin, come on, cousin, let's go to the strip club.
Cool, cousin.
And I'm like going,
he was kind of annoying.
I would not deal with this guy. I couldn't deal with that guy shit. He kept calling you doing, I'm trying to do stuff, and I keep getting called for missions.
Yeah, he wants you to go shoot pool with him or something.
And I'm like going, I can't play this game. And I didn't beat that one. The other Grand Theft Auto, or the last one, you start off as the he wasn't a car thief. He was a car repossessor, right? Is that what it was?
You talking about Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin.
Black guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was getting paid to go
like pick up other people's cars.
Basically pick up a car that almost like a repo guy.
Yeah. But I couldn't stand his friend. Kept calling him the N-word.
Yeah, he did.
12 freaking times a second. I was like, going, I'm not going to put up with this shit. No one else should either. That's my message for the day. But I was like, going, no, I can't do it. So I didn't beat that game. I haven't beat any of those games. Only games I've beaten in the Grand Theft Auto Land are Saints Row. I've beaten every single one of those games because I got to modify them, create my own character.
Yeah.
Because it was funny that you can make. The funny thing about it was the very first one. You're the male character, and you had the male voices you could choose through. Then you could change and make yourself a female character. Yeah. But they even had funny things in there, like going the first time you see what's his name, Johnny Gat, the Oriental like hitman guy. He goes. Something looks a little bit different about you, boss. You were a man, but now you're a woman. And they're like going, hey, if it fits, it fits, something like that. But like I like the way. I mean, you were a bad guy essentially, but it was more like you were in a gang, so this is your family. Like your Fast and the Furious
they just
kind
took
of
it
thing.
a different route.
Yeah.
Like the way
they went more comedic and just weird stuff. Like you're driving around what is it? The truck and you're spraying poop all over the rich neighborhoods. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why I always thought Saints Row and GTA were a good companion games because if you wanted to go the more realistic, hardcore route, you go to GTA. If you want to just jump on, have fun, just do a bunch of crazy stuff.
Because we used to do that in Grand Theft Auto all the time, running around and
yeah.
Was that the one that had the big Statue of Liberty? No, wait, was that?
Was 4. Okay,
yeah, because we used to run around in that and just run around and try to raise them that many stars and get the cops to
try to get all the way to 5 stars.
Yeah, that was fun. But then that's all it was. And then they had the in Grand Theft Auto 5 the online thing where they were basically like
they tried to make the creative characters. And
you're like going you're like on every one of these characters needs to wear a mask because they all look like they're inbred.
They look bad, yeah.
They need to have a better system. Like, man, I still can't wait for that. I mean, I'm gonna love when that Cyberpunk 2077 comes out. So and plus we were just talking to your kids about they want to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
But now I'm not sure. Like Troy's really excited about that. But now I'm not sure if he wants to. Would he rather play D&D or would he rather play Star Wars? The Edge of the Empire one.
I don't know. I think either or he'd be good. He'd be fine with.
Yeah. I just kind of want to do something to just to have that kind of fun, get that kind of thing, because I can't do it with my group anymore. They're just like nobody can decide on what they want to play, and then no one can decide. Some of them are more into miniature gaming, the tabletop miniatures, and I don't want to. I mean, I'm already spending a ton of money on all the Star Wars games and the miniatures and stuff. Dude. Yeah. I just got like 3.
It's like every day you're posting new miniatures.
But it's usually like it seems like every day, but it's usually one time a month I can afford like $100 to throw towards. That's so
crazy. It's that collector's mentality of like once you start, you're like, I gotta finish.
It's like that because I swear that should be an addiction. Like I call it the Amazon addiction. Like I'll order something from Amazon or like. What are they called? Miniature market, something like that. That's where you can get some miniatures. You can get it cheaper than you can get on Amazon. But and they usually have the stuff that's not sold out. Like they'll have like 20 plus items of this, something like that, and you can't find them anywhere else because they're sold out. But then you get them from there, and then like it's nice because you get that box in the mail, or you see that email, your package is coming. You're like, oh boy, I can't wait! And then you get your package and you open it up, and there it is, and you got it. And oh man, now I don't have any more packages coming. Now I got to order something to get that feeling again. It's like, what do you call that? Not endorphins. Like when you get a text and you kind of perk up like,
Yeah.
communication from the outside world. Someone that loves me. And then you answer the text. Oh man, it's just a child missing. I don't know. That's not nice.
Just your Amber Alert going off.
Amber Alert. I got a message. Oh, it's not for me. Some kid didn't learn. Some kid didn't learn the things we all learned in the '80s. Don't go near strangers. That kind of situation.
So is that what you've been up to, Sully?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than I have the Red Dead Redemption 2, I have it written down, play as an outlaw, ? And then I have meh, because that's what I feel about that.
Yeah.
I don't like anti-hero characters.
I'll wait and see exactly. Hopefully, I'm assuming some of the characters will be.
I want to see more too.
Will be like not as crazy.
And then I want to see if the online thing, how the
yeah.
customization is.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to it a lot.
I like customization. I like to be able to make myself my character. Like when I told you when I played Star Wars Galaxies and I had a smuggler, but then I made myself in the game. I mean he looked just like me, sideburns and everything, and then I did something I can't do in real life. I made a mechanic or an engineer. Mm-hmm. I don't know the first thing like my mechanical skills. Drive up to the place, give it to them, let them do stuff. Or I've had you change my oil before just because, just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very
technically I could do it, but I just
I just know the basics: oil change, tire change, stuff like that.
I can do tire changes, no problem. But I laughed when oh man, I was doing security at this place, and these like millennial kids like had a flat tire, and they were all standing outside of the car like the car was on fire, like they couldn't figure out what to do, and I'm like, you guys need help? And the two, there was like one really cute girl, then a little cute little hipster girl, and then these two like dumb as fuck.
Did they have man buns?
Dumb as shit. One of them did.
Oh.
Wanted to behead him and hold him by his man bun. I hate him. But then so I like was working on the thing, but then like I'm getting there, jacking up the car, getting the tire and everything. But I'm kind of like, where are they in reference? Because I've seen way too many movies where some guy tries to help somebody and he gets pistol whipped from behind. And I go, man, pistol whipped by millennials? That'd be the worst thing ever.
Horrible.
So, but I don't know. That's pretty much it for me.
I haven't been up too much. I've been working too much overtime to really, do anything.
You've been working a lot of overtime.
Yeah, I've watched. Really, the only thing I've kind of got back into Grand Theft Auto 5 online, trying to, earn money. I've just been getting out and goofing off on it. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I've been working a lot of overtime, so I haven't been doing too much.
Now you make me look like a guy who talks too much.
Ryan basically took up the whole episode, so that's it for Geeks-a-Musing this week. No.
See you next time.
Yeah, we can go ahead and dive into the episode.
Okay.
You want to roll first or me?
Okay, we'll do this. Whoever rolls higher goes first.
Okay.
An 8. What'd you get?
14.
All right, you roll first.
All right. Now I roll and then
you roll and then whatever you roll, just come up with something.
I'm rolling for me.
No, you're rolling to ask me a question.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I picked the question to ask you.
Well, no, I could ask. No, just roll. 6.
What's 6?
No, Dungeons and Dragons role-playing games.
Hey, Dungeons and Dragons. I don't have a question.
Don't have a question? Really?
Well, because you kind of talked a little bit about it, so I don't really know.
Like you can say I don't know, just a quick question.
I can all just say Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this: other than your Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons that you've played, what's your favorite role-playing game that's not Star Wars and Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, okay. That I've ever played or just in general?
Probably, I would say your favorite outside of those two.
Outside of those two, there's two. One is Champions. It's a superhero role-playing game.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's fun because you build your guy from, your powers, your abilities, all stuff like that. that's the good thing. It has a really good range of like, you know, you can make just about anybody if you wanted to. You can make Wolverine, Captain America. You could technically build Superman, but it would cost a lot. It would cost a lot of points. But the only downside is there's got to be a way to speed up the combat system, because it's basically like there's 12 phases, which is basically your units of time. Every phase is 5 seconds. So 12 of them is 60 seconds. So that's 1 whole minute of combat that you're doing in each. I think it's called the turn. It's been a while since I played it.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, I used to just get on there and I used to just get the book and just make characters, just to see what kind of characters I could make. And then they came out with a Champions Online game, which I beta tested, which was fun. But then they screwed me because they were like, "Hey, you can get a lifetime membership for $200 lifetime. You'll never have to pay another fee. You can play the game as much as you want, and you know everything." So I paid the $200. A month later, it was free to play.
Oh.
And I was like, "Son of a bitch!" I was mad.
Oh.
I can't wait to hear how that comes out.
I've been so mad.
I was mad. I immediately. What the dumb part is, they already paid $200, and I stopped playing it. I mean, I could probably get back on there and play, but I don't know where they are now. So, I know City of Heroes. You played that one.
I did play a little bit of City of Heroes.
City of Heroes doesn't exist anymore. It's gone.
Didn't they do City of Villains too?
Yeah, they did City of Villains. I think the game's completely gone. I don't know if there's like that Star Wars Galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
That game vanished, but then they had somebody made an emulator, which is like, you know, a copy of the game, and then they run it on a server, and then people go and play it on that server. And there's certain versions of it, like ones like when the game first came out, the way it was the best, that game. Anyway, back on role playing. The other game would be when we played. I used to just make up games, like I would come up with like a basic kind of how to play the game. And we used to play Cyberpunk 2035, something like that. But there was the 2 games we ever played of it. We did one where we were just they called Street Samurais, something like that, where you run around and you're like a mercenary. You're like a mercenary for the corporations. Like imagine, you know, McDonald's wants the secret recipe, so you go in there and you shoot up the executives and get and steal their stuff. Yeah, you go crazy like that. Like, you know, you go in there and you like it's like espionage, and like, you know, you're going in and you're getting something. You're breaking out, and all the corporations, which is like the corporations are the things that run the country. Wow, what does it sound like to you? But the other one we did was where we were part of the meat wagon, and basically what a meat wagon was is, say like you're a high-level executive and you go down, you get caught in the crossfire between the 2 gangs fighting. You hit the ground, you're bleeding out, and your little card you have will activate and send a beacon. Well, these like hover or flying ambulances will come in, land, you know, scoop you up, throw you in, you know, stabilize you, take you to the hospital, or if you don't make it, they'd cut you up and use your parts and send you around. So we were part of the meat wagon. So like, I was the medic. So like, I had to get out and run to the body. But then like we had, and then like of course like any corporation, you've got people who are, you know, against another corporation. So like 2 or 3 meat wagons would show up, all from different companies, and then it would just be a firefight between which ambulance gets that body. And that's what we used to do. Like we made our meat wagon or ambulance had a minigun pop out the side, and we would just use that to spray down the other ambulances. Or they'd give me covering fire while I ran out and stabilized the guy and dragged him back to the.
You know what that reminds me of? You've seen Gangs of New York?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that scene where the two opposing fire stations show up at that fire, and they just start fighting each other. So who gets to put the fire out?
Yeah,
that was freaking crazy. That's what that sounds like.
But yeah, that was that game. But then I just used to make up role playing games like based on anime, stuff like that. Like I made an Appleseed where you were E-SWAT, extra special weapons and tactics. I think that's what the E stands for. I'm not really sure. But you were like the police and you patrolled the city. And then another one was like there was an anime called Bubblegum Crisis, but there was this group of armored women called the Night Sabers, and they fought against this corporation. And then there was a group called the Advanced Police, but they were called the 80 Police. And then we set ours in my friend Andy actually came up with this, but then I ended actually running it, and we did It was based in Texas in the far future, where Fort Worth, Dallas, and Arlington all became one giant city, and it was called the Fort Worth Dallas Megaplex. So it was like one gigantic city between all these.
Crap.
Like, think of all the miles between those cities, but it was all completely city.
Oh, dang.
It was one of the biggest cities in the southern area.
So that'd be like what's that? Judge Dredd, like the mega city.
Yeah, like Mega City. Yeah, like Mega City 1 or something like that. But it was like one giant city based on 3 cities, just all grew into one gigantic,
Holy crap.
But yeah, it was like it was pretty cool. But then instead of being the advanced police, we were called the HRP, the Heavy Response Police. And then there's like these kind of like robots that go around and they do manual labor, stand in a corner, wave traffic through, things like that. But then of course there are people against this because their robots are taking human jobs,
It took our job.
But then they had then there's some that are military grade that can actually wear human skin, so it's basically kind of like Terminator. But like we had one mission where I think I was the heavy weapons person in the group, and we went undercover into this club. That might have been Cyberpunk, because we did this one. I remember we went into a club and we made a band that was called Billy's Idols, and it was a bunch of guys, because in the future, music, of course, when you look at it now, it's still the same. But basically what it was basically people covering old music, but kind of putting more of a techno sound to it.
Like a
so it was like. Yeah, kind of like dubstep or like techno, but it was Billy Idol lookalikes through think of young Billy Idol all the way through like what he could be eventually, but all the way through that. So they had all these different guys looking like Billy Idol, and they get like the prosthetics and like the makeup and like the plastic surgery to look just like Billy Idol. So, but we were like, we just called it Billy's Idols. It was this band, and they were like they were just playing on stage. They were playing like. Dancing with Myself, but it was a techno beat, and I was like, I wonder what that would sound like. Which is weird, because later on, Billy Idol came up with Cyberpunk, the album, because he really got into the cyberpunk kind of thing.
Did he really?
Yeah, and that album wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. Some of the songs that were on there. I had one song when the riots went out, the LA riots, and it was called "Shock to the System." That's a really good song. That's a really cyberpunk feeling song. Like you could play that and go, this is what it would be like to be in cyberpunk. But we played that, and then we went undercover into this club, and my one friend who was like, he was kind of like the private detective, but he worked with the police, so I guess he was a detective, but he was undercover, and he was talking to this lady, and he was like trying to like talk to her, and she ended up reaching over the table and holding his hand, and he was like, what the hell is this all about? And then she just crushed his hand.
Oh. And
then she like got up and she basically grabbed him by the neck, and she was like basically just throttling him, like, and just choking him out. And then I think in that one game, like 3 of us went to the hospital. I was the only one who didn't go, because I ran to the car, got out one of my guns, ran up in there, and she was basically like, by this time they had these like the female ones, the male ones and the female ones had this chest kind of cavity. Mm-hmm. They could open up and be like some kind of weird plasma generator or explosive attack or something like that. So she basically pops her skin, and her chest opens up and fires and like knocks one of our guys out, like knocks him out the door. And I come running up, and I'm like, machine gunning this girl, and she's running at me, and I'm like going, man, I got like 2 more shots before she gets to me. So I'm just squeezing the trigger and just letting her have it. And she gets right up to me and just falls down. She basically like skidded to my feet, and I was like, I got 2 more shots left. I put them into her because I wasn't sure.
To make sure.
But then everyone else is in the hospital. And that game was kind of over quick, but it was still a lot of fun. No, I just like role playing games in general, because most games you're stuck in a framework. You can't go outside of that framework.
Yeah.
Cool. You play a board game and you're stuck playing a board game.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that's it for that.
Alright, here goes my topic.
Your topic is 4. Myths and legends. What's your favorite legend?
Ooh. Oh, dang. Favorite legend. See, I love this stuff, too. I'm trying to think of something right off the top of my head.
I like maybe your favorite legend from a specific culture.
No. legend. Okay. So I'm
Or
trying to,
favorite myth or legend.
in my head, I'm trying to separate. I'm trying to separate the real life legends and myths versus stuff I've seen.
Oh, you can say
stuff
real.
I've seen in
You can
movies.
say real legends if you want to. Any kind of legend.
That's what I'm thinking. In my head, I'm thinking, oh, I really like the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, but I'm like, well, that's just a story. But I'm trying to think of something real.
Yeah.
A real legend. Oh, dang. Well, one of them.
I like that movie, Sleepy Hollow.
I do too. Tim Burton one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I like that one a lot.
I still think it's funny that Darth Maul was the
Oh, yeah. Headless Horseman.
What is that guy's real name? That's sad.
I even like the Disney one, Ichabod Mr.
Yeah, that one's. They even play that anymore?
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of those old Disney dudes. They can't. You know, as bad as it is, every now and then I want to watch Song of the South. But I mean, it's so stereotypical. It's so racist. But you're just like, oh my god, I should not be watching this. But I should not like this song. Zippity doo dah, zippity yay. That's it. That's all I can sing.
Plenty of sunshine in my way.
Sued. Disney's coming right after us now.
There's hey,
going,
Mickey.
No, he's got a bat.
You must have wrong mouse. It's like, no. Let's see.
Start bouncing like Donald Duck.
I can't really think of like my favorite. I like. I know some of the big ones is like myths and legends. Like you got the Mothman.
Oh yeah,
on, like,
I watched a
East
thing about that the other day. Yeah.
And that's one of the things where I'm like, I don't really know what I feel about that one because it was kind of weird. I know you hear people trying to explain it away with like, oh, they just saw, it was just a giant owl.
Yeah.
Or something like that, but
and a giant owl could take out a bridge.
That's true.
He could be up there.
But that was supposed to be like the last time he was, the Mothman was technically seen. I guess you've had a few supposed sightings since, but that bridge collapsed in the 70s or is it 60s?
60s or 70s? I actually watched that movie, Mothman Prophecies.
Yeah,
I think I caught the last 45 minutes.
I didn't really like it too much. I thought it was kind of boring, slow. But there's another one up in Wisconsin, I believe, called the Beast of Briar Road.
Ooh, tell me. That sounds cool.
Well, this is one of the things where I don't know all the specifics. I know it's supposedly a werewolf-type creature that people have seen on certain areas. I wish I knew the name of the town. But on that one road, people have supposedly come across a werewolf-type creature. And that's all I got for that one. I don't have much to go with. I know a lot of quick basic stuff about it. You got the, of course, you got myth legends. You got the classic Bigfoot, the Patterson tape film from California, the real famous. It turns out that it was actually if you believe it's real, it was actually a female Bigfoot.
Yeah, you can see the boobs.
The furry boobies.
She was probably a 44 double D. No, hold on. That's Bigfoot size? No, they were bigger than that.
No, like 7 foot or something. But that's one of those things where people have done scientific analysis of that video, and it's humanly impossible for a human to have walked that way or something. And
yeah, but it's all grainy. You're like,
yeah.
I mean, I love the idea of Bigfoot.
I do too, and it's still if it's fake, it's very well done.
When it comes to the myths and legends, I just love the idea that something else is out there other than us, because I hate people.
I
would hug a Bigfoot if you hug me back, and not in a bad way where he goes, and I go, oh, that's a bear hug, you stupid beast.
Well, so you got one of the biggest ones is the Loch Ness monster.
I love
Scotland.
That one. Yeah, but then that jackass, the one who had the famous photo. He was like, it's just the thing I put on a toy submarine.
Yeah.
I said that on my deathbed.
Yeah.
That's when you should go, this is what we do to people who lie, whether they're dead or not.
Well, it's funny.
Hang his ass in the town square.
That picture is you always see the close-up shot of it. If you see the entire picture, the whole wide thing, it does look small.
Oh, okay. So they only cropped it so it looks big. Okay.
So even was he the one that cropped it, or did the people?
Maybe the publisher. They probably went, it looks little. Let's crop it. Make it look bigger.
It up there. It looks bigger.
That sounds like something.
But there's been some interesting stuff there. You know, whether you believe stuff like that could survive that long. You've also got here in Tennessee, down by around Chattanooga. You've got the green-eyed monster. Supposedly,
what?
It supposedly hangs out down by the battlefield, the Civil War battlefield down there.
Yeah.
And supposedly that creature was around during the battle, and he came out during night and kind of feasted on the dead.
That's awesome. That's badass.
But you know what? I don't really have off the top of my head, I don't have a favorite. I mean, you just got the classics, the Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster.
Well, I also think like other legends can be like just legends like some Greek myths, Greek legends, stuff like that. But then
I guess I automatically go to the crypto stuff. When
yeah,
I think of,
I mean that I like that, but I also like things where they just the only reason they came up is to explain something.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can't think of anything right now, but like what's the one? Is it about Echo?
It's like underwater echo.
No, like the word like basically the word echo comes from some Greek. She was one of the what do you call them? Well, she was one of the muses, and all she could really do is just repeat what people say, and I can't remember why.
Oh,
the
really?
Legend, yeah, but that's the reason why we have echoes. They go whenever you shout out to the canyon and you hear your voice sent back to you. That's echo repeating what you say.
Oh,
and I'm like going, that just sounds like they didn't know, so they came up with a story. Which I mean, you know, like Thor, you know, like Zeus. So like you hear thunder, you're like going, oh, the gods are angry, that kind of thing. Like going,
thunder.
Yeah, because you're like going, oh, what was that noise? Oh, that's because, you know, what's that thing? Remember those Deep Thoughts by Jack Andy?
Oh, yeah.
Because when it rains, it's God crying. It's probably something you did.
Yeah, I forgot about those.
And you're like, aw, I'm sorry.
Well, you know what else I forgot too? That legends can be stuff like Robin Hood, Atlantis, Bloody Mary.
Oh yeah, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary really happened.
Yeah, that is based on what's her name?
The one who took a bath in blood.
Yeah, bathed in.
But apparently there was like 3 or 4 women who've done that.
That's so weird.
I always thought it was just one, but apparently throughout time, maybe they all knew each other.
Sure, they may have. You got the fountain of the fountain of youth that.
That's a real thing.
Who was looking? What was that famous explorer?
How do you think Keanu Reeves stays looking the same all the way he is? He's either a vampire or he knows what the fountain of youth is. I like that guy. He always seems like he'd be cool. He always seems pretty laid back too, because you'll see him like on the subway just hanging out with regular people.
Yeah. You know, I was just listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about Atlantis. I'll talk real quick about that. What do you think about Atlantis? You think I think it was a society that probably existed, probably not as mythical and as extravagant as the legend says.
Yeah.
But there was probably something. Usually, every myth or legend has a grain of truth.
Yeah.
So it may have been something. And I didn't know either that. Who was it? Was it
Socrates or Plato? One of those two.
Was told by some other guy who was told by the Egyptians about this society.
Oh, okay.
Which that part I didn't know about.
Huh.
Because supposedly they were saying too the Greek, because the Atlantis went to war with the Greeks, but supposedly this was like a more ancient Greek than like Socrates was. It was
wasn't Atlantis, they were more technologically superior?
That's what I thought too, but the way they were talking about it was the Greeks beat the Atlanteans.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if they were so highly... Because when I think of Atlantis, I think of the Disney movie, Atlantis Lost Empire.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like super high-tech.
I've seen that once.
And it's like, well, if they were really that high-tech, they would have wiped the Greeks.
What's the one legend I know from Egypt? I think her name's Bast or Basit, something like that. She's like the goddess of cats, basically. That's why cats are so revered and so revered in Egypt, yeah.
Oh.
But to beat an army of Bast, these other guys, I can't remember who they were, like their opposing side, grabbed cats and strapped them to their shields, and basically just marched forward. Oh. And the priest or whatever, the warriors of Bast, could not attack for fear of harming the cats. So they basically just got rolled over.
Oh, dang. That's the way to beat him.
And I was like, oh, that's tactics, man.
That's using your own noggin. All right, I'll go ahead and roll for yours.
Yeah, you roll for me.
All right.
15 video games growing up with in arcades. Any question from that?
All right, video games. Growing up in arcades. You know what? I'm gonna go with the arcade because you were I did arcades.
Yeah.
But you were kind of more of the age during their heyday when you could
really
enjoy them. I kind of enjoyed them more towards the end.
Yeah. They even have arcades anymore. Like Dave & Buster's has an arcade.
Dave & Buster's, and you know what?
But it's always like they have arcades where like it's the games that cost $5 a play, and you're like, Jesus, are you kidding me? You know how long it's gonna last?
But there is a place in Murfreesboro, I think, here that's all like classic arcade games.
Nice.
I want to go, but okay, I'll go. Let's go with the arcade. But let me ask you, what was your growing up your favorite? I don't want to say arcade store, but your favorite memory associated with the arcades.
Okay. All right, growing up in Las Vegas, there was gambling, and for kids, there was arcades everywhere, and Circus on the second floor.
And what year were you talking here?
This is the 80s, throughout the 80s.
That was most of your time in Vegas, was
Yeah.
the 80s?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Because I guess my parents got divorced in 5th grade? What's 5th grade? How old do I be in 5th grade? I can never figure out grades and how old you are.
My son's 13 and he's in 7th grade.
Okay, so
Maybe 11.
11 or 12, something like that?
10, 11-ish.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right around there.
Okay, so 11. So when I was 11, and then since I was, which is weird because I was thinking about this the other day. I was 18 in 1990. So I basically became a man. Dum dum dum. In the the man.
Let's do this.
But I became So 1990. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway. So yeah, I mean I think in 1990 I stopped going. I think maybe I went 2 more years because I used to go to the summer. Just go see my my dad, and then for a month. But we used to go to arcades all the time. I'd go bowling with my grandpa Monty and my grandma Shirley. And I miss that lady. She was funny, but she used to gamble. She was lucky as hell gambling.
Really?
She'd win all the time. My grandpa was sitting there going, "How does she do it?" He just didn't know. And we'd go to her. We couldn't go to Grandpa. He didn't have any quarters. Grandma Shirley had all the money, so we'd get money from her. And my little brother and I would run back to the video games. But yeah, I've seen video games from their the very beginning to what they are now. So
were the arcades attached to the casino?
Yeah, they're usually kind of off to the side because kids aren't allowed to stay near them. They can't even walk near slot machines. But when I was younger, I don't know if they can now. I mean, I'm sure there's people that tell me to stay away.
Yeah.
But you said just areas where there was arcades. Circus had one of the best ones. I used to play the Tron game up there, and they even had the lunar lander one where it was just a little wheel and a lever going up and down for thrust. That's all it was. Just all those games. And I remember other games this is going to be one for you. I remember playing Donkey Kong for the very first time.
In the arcade?
In the arcade. My little brother was maybe 6.
You're so old.
I am. He was 6 or 7 because we had to put him up on a stool to play Donkey Kong.
Dang.
And he's playing it as he's moving across, when the barrels would come down the ladders or whatever like that, and they hit him in the head. My little brother would rub his head ow. Or then when he tried to jump a barrel and he got his butt burned by the fireball, he'd rub his butt ow, It was cute. But then, I remember playing that game the first time. I remember other games there was Donkey Kong Jr., but there was a game called Kangaroo, which was like Donkey Kong Jr. So you were I think you were a mom kangaroo, and you were trying to go up and get your little Joey who was up there. Yeah. He was kidnapped by a hunter or something. And I remember this game called Crazy Climber. This is 2 levers, and you had to move your hands up and down. You were basically moving your arm up and then your arms, and you were climbing up 100-story tall building. And there'd be birds flying overhead, dropping eggs and actual shit, little brown things. They drop on you, and if you got hit enough, you go, "Oh no!" And it would go, "Da-na-na-na-na-na-na." I still remember the music in my head.
Oh man!
But I remember Dragon's Lair when that first came out.
Dragon's Lair, yeah.
I used to play that a lot. I remember being Chuck E. Cheese. There's another one we used to go to the arcade all the time. But Chuck E. Cheese then had like arcade games like, you know, the actual standing up arcades. It wasn't like, I don't know what it's like now. Isn't it more like kid games?
Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
You know what? It's been years since I've been there. Last time I was there, it had arcade games. But it did have a lot of, like you were saying, like Whack-A-Mole or Ski. It's called Skee Ball.
Yeah. That's cool though. But they had the. I remember playing it once, and I'm like, I played it, and like I lost like the third man or something like that. And this teenage kid, I guess he was like 16 or 17. He was just cool. He put in his money. He went, go ahead, man. I was like, what? And he goes, just listen to what I say. And I was like, okay. He got me through the whole game on one man. I just fought his directions, and I beat it. And I was like, the funny thing is, I don't know if I thanked him. And it kind of eats at me now because I'm like going, he put that in there, and I was just like, I won, and I ran off to go tell my dad or something like that. I beat Dragon's Lair, and that kid was probably like, you're welcome. Yeah, as I ran off.
You run away, you just hear you screaming off, yeah, you're just sitting there.
And he's like, he was like cool guy, and he like lit up a cigarette because he underage, shouldn't be smoking, but he was like, you're welcome, kid.
Yeah, I was just thinking that, you're welcome, kid.
And he nodded his head, and he went, oh man. My life is an 80s movie.
It is, dude, totally.
That's funny. Yeah, that was it for arcades. But I mean, I remember arcades at the start, and then when arcades weren't arcades. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese, or what was the one? There was one called, I can't remember what it was called. It was like a Chuck E. Cheese competitor. But I remember being there once, and my great aunt Ethel, she was like, we're sitting there, and this little girl was just following me, just watching me. And she was like, I think you have an admirer. And that girl's terrified me at a young age. Like, I was the shyest person ever. Like, high school, I was pretty shy. But, like, when I was younger than that, man, I would, like, not even talk to girls because they scared the crap out of me. But this little girl was, like, watching me. She thought it was cute. And I was like, I don't know who that girl is. She scares me.
Yeah, when the last really arcade, like, place that I remember that was strictly arcade games was early 90s down here in Tennessee. Yeah. And since then, it's just, like you're saying, Dave & Buster's.
Dave & Buster's? But that's more like, if you're going to go to Dave & Buster's, they have pool and they have, but I mean, come on, dude, you drink and alcohol and then you get on, like, pole position and see how long you'd last on the way home. Am I good to drive? Nope.
I can't.
I'm going the other way. You can't even go to the other way in this game, but somehow I did it. That's a funny story right there. When I worked at the movie theater, the story I told you about with the popcorn. My friends showed up. Chance, Mark, and Jonathan. They all showed up, and they'd been drinking. And they were like, "Oh man, you know, when do you get off?" And I was like, "I got like an hour left." They go, "Well, we'll go see a movie. We'll come back out." But then they had like I had to clean up and help everybody else. So we were there, and we had. Not pole position. What's the one? Is it Outrun? Where you have to run the distance? You have to drive from one shore to the other?
Is it the one where they're in the red Ferrari?
Yeah, is that it?
The convertible?
I think so, yeah. So they were playing it, and then Jonathan comes walking over to me. He's got his eyes wide, and he goes, we dared Chance, because Chance is drunk. We dared Chance, if he could beat the game, we let him drive to Dallas. And he goes, and he's almost going to beat the game. And we were like, man, he can't win. So they were like, we went over there watching him, and like, I never got that far in that game. I don't know how he was doing as good as he was. And I was like going, he might actually get us there, but I don't know if he gets us on the way back. Oh, dang. So so he's playing the game, and he was short on time. He wasn't going to make it. We were like, oh, thank God. But he didn't beat the game, really. He was like going, I almost beat it. He goes, that means I get a drive. We're like going, no, you didn't win, so you don't get a drive.
It's just the fact you got this drunk guy who you guys are like, if he beats this game, we have to let him drive. We can't say no.
Word. Yeah, it's all about you're a man. You have to honor your word.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, that was funny. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Here we go. 18 conspiracy theories.
Oh yeah, conspiracy theories.
All right, just give me a conspiracy theory. Tell me one.
Well, there's always the conspiracy theory.
I'm gonna break a bottle over your head if you say 9/11.
The JFK assassination.
Oh, okay.
That was one. I'll talk about. I know it's the one everybody talks about.
Aliens.
It was aliens, with the candlestick in the parlor. They killed
And
JFK.
Gramercy Park.
He, that is one conspiracy where I bought hook, line, and sinker after watching Oliver Stone's JFK. And then in subsequent years with the internet, you go and you do some research and you watch videos and stuff, and you find out, oh, that magic bullet that they say stopped in midair, did 90 degrees, went down, stopped again, did all this stuff. No, it didn't. It would have had to have done that if the president and the governor were the same level, seating level. But the fact that Kennedy was sitting higher than Connolly, the injuries on them match up perfectly, zoomed back to the book depository window.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, well you're like, okay, so the magic bullet, it didn't stop in midair and do all this stuff because it was a straight shot. Like, okay, well, what about this back and to the left? What's up with it? It had to have come from the front right? And then you go watch videos and you're like, oh, wait, no. Getting hit from around in your back right of your head will make your head go back into the left simply because the explosion of the front of your head is what's sending it. And the whole thought, too, of like, that's right, an exit wound is always larger than the entry wound.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start looking at more and more stuff, and I'm like, as of today, I believe it was Lee Harvey Oswald.
That always reminds me of the scene in, is it Goodfellas where they killed Joe Pesci, or was it the other one? What was the other movie where they killed Joe
The
Pesci?
one where he thinks he's going to get made?
Yeah.
That's Goodfellas.
And they walk him in there and they shoot him in the back of the head.
He goes, oh, no. Oh, yeah, right in the
because
back.
They were like they did that so he couldn't have an open casket.
Yeah.
So the exit wound would have blown his face off.
All because of Billy Bats. And he said and among other things, which is sad because that dude just died recently. The guy who played Billy Bats.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was like, oh man, that was a bummer. But yeah,
that's a good
I know the mobs talked about it, killing Kennedy or the Cubans or the CIA and all this other stuff. And I don't know, I kind of look back at Oliver Stone's JFK movie now, and I'm just like, that's most of this stuff is.
Only connection I have to that movie is my friend Jonathan's sister Christine. She was the costume coordinator on that movie.
On JFK?
Yeah.
It's still a well put together movie.
Yeah.
But just like I said,
I'm pretty sure she was. I remember she was a part of it because we thought that was a really big cool deal that she got into that.
And I love the opening of that movie. You got just the drums and the music, and it's talking about building up. And you've got Martin Sheen doing the narration. It's like Kennedy wins by the slimmest margins over Nixon, and then it just keeps going about the Cuban Missile Crisis, and the music kind of picks up and shows Castro.
What was that one funny thing about the Nixon Kennedy thing? Was about the whole the makeup thing, because they were like, you go on TV, put makeup on you. And Nixon was like, not gonna make me look like a woman.
Like,
and then Kennedy, they were like, they put makeup on Kennedy, and he won. Because he looked better than Nixon.
Well, yeah, Kennedy too. He had to stay all glitzy for Marilyn Monroe and all that.
Oh yeah, plus he was a younger dude.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's I just picked one conspiracy on that one. That's the biggest
That's
one,
cool.
but I know a lot of people still believe in it. I don't. I just wanted to explain why. So,
all right, you roll.
I'm gonna roll for you. Come on.
One. Oh, DVD, Blu-ray.
What's the
Or VHS, favorite one growing up?
My question for you, sir.
Yes.
Let's go.
Because I can tell you a funny story about the DVD, Blu-ray thing.
Is it DVD, Blu-ray centric or VHS centric?
DVD, Blu-ray centric.
Okay. Tell me your funny DVD, Blu-ray story.
You'll know this because you were the one who converted me from DVD to Blu-ray.
That's right. Okay.
Because we had the console set up, and you were like, look at
PS4,
DVD and look at Blu-ray, and it was Star Trek.
Yep, the J.J. Abrams first Star Trek.
Yeah,
yep.
And you were like, okay, look at this. Now look at this, and I was like, I don't see a difference. You were like, well, no, look at the DVD, look at the Blu-ray,
Yeah,
and then it was like
both hooked up to to the same TV, and we just kept switching.
Yeah, you kept going back and forth, and I was like going, okay, because it was crisper on the Blu-ray. And that's what actually got me ended up buying. I wouldn't buy a PS3. Wouldn't buy a PS3 for the longest time because
yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was the PS3 because they had the Blu-ray.
because you were like, you got to get one, and I was like, why do I need one? Because that was when you were like, get it for the Blu-ray, and then because you guys were all playing Medal of Honor at work. That's when I got into it. And we started playing Medal of Honor and Call of Duty and stuff all together from the guys at work. Yeah, when I used to go on my rants.
Oh, those epic, legendary. Oh, I should have mentioned that in the Myths and Legends. Ryan's legendary Call of Duty rants.
Oh, I go off.
Funny. But yeah, that's right. That's right. I come over to your house and I bought PS3 and you had your. What did you have hooked up?
I think it was my 360.
Your 360. That's right.
Or no, maybe it was just a regular DVD player. It was probably a 360.
And you had the DVD edition of Star Trek, and I had the Blu-ray of Star Trek. And it's like, no, dude, look at it. It looks so much good.
That was pretty much it. Now I'm going through the process of.
Yeah, you're about converting all your DVDs to Blu-ray.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've even gone through like Amazon, and I look at my shelf and I look up that movie, and then I put in save, and I have a whole section called DVD/Blu-ray. Everything I have on DVD, then I'm going to convert to Blu-ray.
And then just as you get done with that, 4K or 8K.
I'm not getting 4K and 8K. I remember in the 90s when we had VHS and people were talking about CDs and DVDs, and my friend Chance was like, check this out. This is going to be he was looking at some magazine. Check this out. This is going to be the next thing to have to do with, Laserdisc. Laserdisc just came out. He was like, this will be the next thing. So they weren't even thinking about DVDs by the
He said Laserdisc was going to be the next big thing?
No, Laserdisc was the thing now, or at that time. And then
DVD.
The next thing was, it was going to be a marble that you put into a thing, and then it spun around and it read the movie. Yeah, that's where they thought that's where it was going to go.
Why didn't that work out? That sounds awesome.
It does sound cool. It sounds very, very high tech.
Yeah, it does. Probably something you see out of Star Trek or Star Wars or Minority Report.
Yeah.
Well, it's very cool. DVD Blu-ray story, sir.
Nah, that was all right. This is yours. 17. Star Wars, Star Trek versus, if you want to. Okay. What's your favorite Star Trek movie or movies?
Ooh, my favorite Star Trek movie.
Real quick, did you watch that new Star Trek that came out? Because I missed it. Is it Discovery? Is that what it's called?
Oh, the TV show?
Yeah.
No.
I missed it.
Because it's going to be on I think the first episode you can watch for free online or on CBS, but then the rest of the series itself is going to be on the CBS's Netflix equivalent.
No, never mind. I'm not watching
so they're thinking that's what's going to bring a bunch of people over for that Star Trek to watch it.
Just the top end Star Trek nerds.
As far as I'll just preface it. As far as TV series goes, Next Generation all the way, baby. Love the Next Generation. Me and my wife went right because I was wanting to get hyped up for No Man's Sky before it come out.
Oh yeah.
So we went through and watched the entire series because it was on Netflix of Star Trek: The Next Generation. So from episode 1 all the way through, and that was a lot of fun. I remember I had seen most of them. I hadn't seen all of them. There were a couple I ended up falling asleep to.
The only one I remember the most was the one where they went to that planet and Geordi and that girl started turning into creatures. Do you remember that one? And they were like invisible.
Oh yeah, I do remember
chameleons,
that.
But they could only be seen with like an ultralight or something like that.
Yeah, that's
But my friend Andy and I were watching it, and it was real creepy because it was like you didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And then they did what was it called? A holodeck. They did a rendering, and they said he was like, where's the shadow coming from? He was like, computer, if you can take these dimensions and whatever, and then it showed you the thing, and me and my friend Andy were like going, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
We were like freaking out, and then we were like going, invisible monsters everywhere. We started goofing off, and then we were like, this is the trailer park that was just outside of Denton we used to go to. It was like a trailer park that was like for the college kids there. Because like during the weekends they would have like this large area where there was no trailer parks. It was just open field. They used to have bonfires out there where everyone would just go out there and drink and have fun. It was actually a pretty cool place when you're in that that young, late teens, early 20s,
right,
kind of phase. But we're watching that, and then we hear this little kid, like, their little kids were playing. This one kid was screaming, like, you know how little kids scream. You're like, oh, what is that kid screaming about? We're like going, invisible monster. We just thought the kid was getting eaten by an invisible monster. But yeah, I remember that episode. One of the best ones.
That's my favorite of the TV shows. The movies, though, You know, I think I'm gonna have to go with Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country.
Yeah, that is a really
That's my
good
favorite,
one.
with a very close second of Star Trek: First Contact.
Yeah, that one was pretty
That and but a big problem I have with that movie, and it's just First Contact. It's just a nitpick.
good. Which one? What is it?
It's the part at the end when Data goes, "Resistance is futile,"
Oh, futile.
instead of futile.
Yeah.
And futile might be the correct way an android would say it, because that might be the correct way. But it's just every other time before then, you've always, even on the TV show, you've always heard resistance is futile.
Yeah.
And even Picard says it at the beginning of that movie. He's like, because he's I am Locutus of Borg.
Oh, yeah.
Resistance is futile. That's a good movie. But Undiscovered Country, I like that one. I love the end battle when you've got the cloaked bird of prey that can fire, but of course its shields are down, and they're trying to hurry up and fix up that torpedo to home in on it, and you got the really famous, as soon as they're like, we're ready to go, and Kirk goes, fire, and then shoots it out, and you just watch it.
And he does a fist like he's shoving it up your ass.
Fire, and you watch it go, and it shoots out, and it's just going, it's going around, and you see the people on the bird of prey kind of like perk up like, what the heck? And he goes, and he just goes, to be or not to be.
Doesn't he kind of turn sideways like?
Yeah. Boom, it hits, and then you see
Sulu?
Sulu. He's like lock onto that.
Yeah, lock on the explosion. Fire.
And you got just both of them just going boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah, and they're it's just rocking back and forth. It's
I
getting torn
love
up. Yeah, that's a really good scene.
But you know what? The Next Generation crew, though, the first Contact is really the only movie I like. I didn't like the very first one, Generations. I
don't like
really
Generations.
boring. Again, the only part of that movie I like is when Riker goes fire. Like, it's just for some reason the way they say it. Because they're getting just hit.
Because it's always like it's the zoom in when they go fire.
And then the ones after that are just kind of boring. You got Tom Hardy's in Nemesis. He's like the main bad guy in that.
I don't like. Which is the fourth one? When they find Spock, search for Spock.
Yeah, because
was it the third one?
Home.
No, fourth one's the whales. The third one where they have. They go to Spock and it has Christopher Lloyd as one of the. He's the Klingon guy. Right. But the only part I love in that movie is when they do the self-destruct. Because I mean, like, it's such an iconic ship to watch that ship go down in flames. You're like, oh my god! Right. And then they did like the worst thing about the first Star Trek is when. They always have to show these these money shots of of the Enterprise. They got to go by real slow and do the music. You're like going, come on, man, we've been here for 30 minutes looking at the movie. Let's do something. I gotta go somewhere. Home. I'm falling asleep. I swear to God. All right, I can only love a ship so much. You never saw any scenes of the Millennium Falcon with a slow shot across the Millennium Falcon. We'll take that one, the piece of garbage. Hold on, we got to sit out here for 20 more minutes and look at it. We got to look at every little cable and little knot and everything in it. You pan over to it, you run to it, you go. Snap, 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 let's go. But the part where they set it for self-destruction and the Klingons are on board and they're walking around, he goes, no one on board, but the computer's speaking. What's it saying? He goes, 5, 4, and he goes, get out! And then the one guy looks around like, what? I don't understand what's going on. Because he's a Klingon, he doesn't understand what a countdown is.
At least he didn't. At least he died. Like he wasn't full of terror and expecting.
Yeah, but he looked around for a second like, what? Why does he want us to leave? And then it was like 1, 0. Then it starts blowing up.
No, Enterprise.
Yeah, then you see that part when he goes, what have I done? And you see the Enterprise going down in flames, and he goes, what you've always done. Give us a chance to live, or something like that. There's always some pretty good lines out of Star Trek. I remember watching Star Trek because it'd be on in my grandpa's house when I was a kid. They always showed the original series, and they'd show that scene at the end during the credits with that one bald-headed creature with the pointy chin, and he's got that locked face like this. Like nobody can see me, but only you can. But he's doing that look, and they used to pop on the screen, and it would terrify me. I'd go, why is he staring at me? What is that thing? It was scary. But I remember the Orion Slave Girls as a kid. They could be a Las Vegas act. Orion Slave Girls were the girls in green. They were all green. Like they had the one that was in the first Star Trek movie with Abrams, and you're like going, because she was friends with what's her name, and she went off, and they all left. Oh yeah, and then when the Enterprise shows up, and they're like all the ships are gone, they're going, oh, the green girl probably died. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
That makes me
She
sad.
probably didn't. She did. She 100% died.
No, she lived for a little while.
You're right. In space, as she slowly suffocated to death.
Yeah, because I saw that in
Vacuum.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you watched part 2 yet?
Not yet.
How
No.
the hell?
Well, I'm waiting to watch it. I don't want to watch it by myself. I gotta
Leave
wait.
this show now. You're not a geek.
No.
All right,
But that we're at about an hour
Guess
and
that's
20
it.
right now.
that's cool. We got
It's pretty quick. And not quick, but we kind of went through. We got a few topics bunched in there at the end. Kind of an off episode. Sorry about that. Like I said, I didn't want to do too close of episodes of Supernatural and Halloween, so we wanted to just put those together.
yeah, that's cool.
But before we roll for the next episode, you can email us at Geeks-a-Musing. Let me say that again. Geeks. Sorry about that. My nose is irritating the crap out of me. Geeks-a-Musing@gmail.com. We do have a Twitter at Geeks-a-Musing. We have a Facebook, facebook.com/Geeks-a-Musing. We do put the audio of this up on YouTube channel as well. Just search Geeks-a-Musing. And so let's go ahead and roll for the next one.
All right. Here we go.
All right.
And it's Myths and Legends.
Myths and Legends.
That's
So
cool.
We talked a little bit about that, but we can get a
Then I
little
can
bit
talk
more.
about cool things like Clash of the Titans.
Yeah,
and
we can
Greek
get like
mythology.
Greek mythology, all sorts of stuff. We'll be able to do a little bit of research on that. But for Geeks-a-Musing, this is Nathan.
This is Ryan. Be a geek, be a nerd, but don't be a dork.